Donald Trump's absolute fear of debating Vice President Kamala Harris again is so profound that a Newsmax host was visibly stunned when a top Trump campaign advisor says that Donald Trump won't debate Harris even on Fox News or Newsmax. Think about that. But before we unpack all that, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and alert bells before you go. All right, friends, we have several clips to talk about in this video. As you know, Donald Trump debated Vice President Kamala Harris, and it went so disastrously that he's in denial about it and refuses to commit to another debate. As a matter of fact, he has repeatedly said there will be no other debate. And there's so much hypocrisy and double standards and confusion with respect to timeline. We're going to get into all of it. But it's so bad that Trump has signaled through top Trump aide, Corey Lewandowski, that Trump won't debate Harris, even if Trump-friendly Fox News and Trump-friendly Newsmax are the ones hosting it. I want you to note the visible, stunning look on the two Newsmax hosts when Corey Lewandowski says what he says.
Yeah, so are you saying that, let's say she did agree to it on Newsmax or on Fox, would Trump be open to it?
Look, I don't know. I don't think that's ever going to happen, so I don't want to talk in a hypothetical. We have proven that Donald Trump has, engaged in debates. Like he undertook and engaged in maybe the greatest debate performance ever for a presidential candidate when he knocked Joe Biden out of the race. And Donald Trump's going to have an opportunity to do something in this election that no Republican's ever done. He's going to be two Democratic nominees for president to go on and win the White House, not just one.
What's the campaign's
debate?
Yeah.
So they had to cut away from Rob Finnerty and the other Newsmax hosts because you could just see it like, wait, what? Even if, Fox would be bad enough. They're already, my God, they're so in the tank for Donald Trump that they had to pay nearly $1 billion, $787 million in a settlement with Dominion Voting Systems because they knowingly signal boosted Donald Trump's election lies. That's how biased Fox is for Trump. They're willing to spend basically $1 billion and whatever was left of their reputation to try to signal boost his blatant, obvious lies that he won the 2020 election because he's so fragile that he can't accept that he lost. Fox is pretty bad. But those Newsmax hosts are like, well, what if we do it? Right? Are you saying you still would? He knocked Joe Biden out of the race. President Biden had a disastrous debate performance, but I would make the argument that Biden knocked himself out of the race. It wasn't because Trump was so stunning. As a matter of fact, Trump told a record number of lies during the debate against the president and also performed terribly because he wouldn't answer questions directly. It's just that Biden was the one who drew national headlines for a disastrous performance. It wasn't that Trump did so well. So again, even there, it's just absolute cope in revisionist history from Corey Lewandowski. But as a reminder, this is what Vice President Kamala Harris put out on September 21st, so very recently. The American people deserve another opportunity to see Vice President Kamala Harris and Donald Trump debate before they cast their ballots. It would be an unprecedented in modern history for there to just be one general election debate. Debates offer a unique chance for voters to see the candidates side by side and take stock of their competing visions for America. Vice President Harris is ready for another opportunity to share a stage with Donald Trump, and she's accepted CNN's invitation to a debate on October 23rd. Donald Trump should have no problem agreeing to this debate. It's the same format and setup as the CNN debate he attended and said he won in June when he praised CNN's moderators, rules, and ratings. We look forward to Vice President Harris again having the opportunity in the CNN debate to show her command of the issues and why it's time to turn the page on Donald Trump and chart a new way forward. So you see how they're very cleverly using Donald Trump's own lies and words against him. Well, if you say you won in the CNN debate, if you constantly and publicly praise CNN's format and moderators, which he has, then this should be a no-brainer, especially if you say that you won the last debate with the vice president. So I want to play some clips of Donald Trump engaging in pure cope.
That I can tell you. So because we've done 2 debates and because they were successful, there will be no third debate.
Doesn't seem like the posture of a guy who dominated the last debate. You talked about it on Twitter, too. Truth Social. When a prize fighter loses a fight, the first words out of his mouth are, "I want a rematch." I want you to make note of that. Please remember that, viewer. When a prize fighter loses a fight, says Donald Trump, the first words out of his mouth are, "I want a rematch." Polls clearly show that I won the debate event against Comrade Kamala Harris, the Democrats' radical left candidate, on Tuesday night. The polls actually say otherwise. The polls say, as a matter of fact, that Donald Trump lost that debate about as badly as President Biden performed in the first debate against Trump. That's how bad Trump performed. She and Crooked Joe have destroyed our country with millions of criminals and mentally deranged people pouring into the USA, totally unchecked and unvetted, and with inflation bankrupting our middle class. Everyone knows this and all of the other problems caused by Kamala and Joe. It was discussed in great detail during the first debate with Joe and the second debate with Comrade Harris. She was a no-show at the Fox debate, which, by the way, she never committed to. There was no agreement on that. And she refused to do NBC and CBS. Kamala should focus on what she should have done during the last almost 4-year period. There will be no third debate. Okay, well, listen, this idea of, again, it's only the loser of a match who publicly demands a rematch. Well, that's something that Trump surrogate Tim Murtaugh took to News Nation in a debate moderated by Chris Cuomo against Brian Tyler Cohen, progressive YouTube political commentator. And Cohen brought the receipts and humiliated Murtaugh and, by extension, the Trump campaign, and by extension, Donald Trump himself, by using Donald Trump's own words against him.
If she thought that she had done well and she left this debate with a clear lead and she was the clear winner after that, she would not be demanding another debate. You know, they try to limit her exposure, and that's the reason why people tuned in, because they've never seen her extrapolate.
That's one perspective. Brian, give me another one.
Tim, let me ask you a question. After Donald Trump beat Joe Biden in the first debate, what's the first thing he did?
You tell me.
He requested another debate with Joe Biden. So if you're claiming that
right, you don't even need to hear the end of that clip. That was just an absolute surgical takedown by Brian Tyler Cohen of the Trump campaign. He's right. After the disastrous debate between President Biden and Donald Trump, saying that he won, took to social media and other places and said that they should have another debate. Why? Because he felt that Biden did terribly and he wanted another opportunity to showcase a second Biden terrible performance. So if what Trump and Murtaugh and the Trump campaign say now is true, then by definition, that means that Trump lost the first debate against the vice president, because otherwise he would have demanded a rematch. Or it meant that Donald Trump lost the first debate to President Biden because he demanded a rematch. These two things are mutually exclusive. They can't exist side by side. So either Trump lost the debate against Biden or he lost the debate against Harris, but there's no timeline in the multiverse where he won both debates, and the logic and the excuses that they offer uphold. At the end of the day, it's the Trump campaign engaging in its unparalleled lies. Michael Tyler, who is a top Kamala Harris advisor and member of the communications team, and a guy, by the way, who triggers Donald Trump on the regular, especially when he appears on Fox. He also took to interviews to basically dare and call out Donald Trump for another debate. Great stuff.
We've been very clear since the debate on September 10th that the American people deserve to see what they saw on that debate stage once again before they cast their ballots on October 23rd in Atlanta. And listen, it would be unprecedented in modern American presidential history for the two candidates who are running to only engage in one debate. So we believe that the American people deserve to see that. Donald Trump himself he said many things when it comes to debates, but he's famously said he's willing to debate anytime, anywhere, any place. He thinks he won both debates. So he should have no problem showing up to show off his prowess once again on the debate stage. And we think that's what the American people deserve to see. There have been more updates since the last debate, right? As the American people begin to tune in and understand the stakes of this election. We see it playing out in states like Georgia, where we have the first confirmed preventable death due to Donald Trump's abortion ban. So there are still questions that the American people have for these candidates that they want to see us debate on the debate stage. And so if Donald Trump is willing to show up on October 23rd, that's what the American people will see.
Again, very good stuff from the Harris surrogates trying to make the case. But again, Donald Trump seems very, very reluctant. So this was from a recent rally in the past, I think, 36 hours on the topic after the vice president formally challenged him to another debate and accepted an offer from CNN for another debate. This is Trump's cope.
Criticized by the radical left lunatics for all of the fairness. They were very fair. In other words, they won't be fair again, because they took a lot of abuse from the radical left. ABC was 3-on-1, but I was given credit for having done a very, very good job. I appreciate that. We did a great job. It was 3-on-1. The problem with another debate is that it's just too late. Voting has already started. She's had her chance to do it with Fox. You know, Fox invited us on, and I waited and waited, and They turned it down. But now she wants to do a debate right before the election with CNN because she's losing badly. You know, it's like a fighter. She sees the pulse. She sees what's happening. She's losing badly. But it's like a fighter who goes into the ring and gets knocked out. The first thing he says is, I want a rematch. I want a rematch.
So again, let's think about this. Donald Trump debated President Biden. Donald Trump said he won that debate. He said he forced President Biden out of the election. But the first thing that Donald Trump did after winning that debate, according to him, was to challenge President Biden to a follow-up debate. Now he's running from Vice President Kamala Harris, whom he also believes he defeated. He also says that, Fox invited Vice President Harris to a debate, which is true. But Donald Trump won't commit to a debate on Fox. As a matter of fact, I've shown you clips where after the debate against Vice President Harris on ABC, when Fox talked to Trump, it was the next day, and he was still reeling from his catastrophic, traumatic defeat. Fox and friends asked, like, hey, listen, if the vice president agrees to debate you on Fox, would you do that? And a panicked Trump was like, well, not if Martha McCallum and Bret Baier are the ones moderating. And they were the ones that Fox recommended when they made the offer to Trump and Vice President Harris. And Trump was fine with that initially, not fine enough to commit to the debate, right? But he didn't have a problem with that so much that he was going to reject it. Because, of course, Martha McCallum and Bret Baier are Trump supporters. But after the ABC debate with Vice President Harris, he did so poorly, he felt that Bret Baier and Martha McCallum would not be sufficiently loyal to him in moderating a Fox debate, where he says, listen, if I even consider a Fox debate, it would have to be Sean Hannity, Laura Ingraham, Jesse Waters. I want you to think about that. She beat him so badly, she scared him away from Fox. And even with Laura Ingraham, Jesse Waters, and Sean Hannity, he still won't commit to a Fox debate, which is why, again, earlier this morning, Corey Lewandowski, one of his top advisors, is saying, look, even if Fox and Newsmax propose a debate, Trump won't commit to it. Last thing I want to say is the vice president's campaign pounced on this. And with Trump's excuse, I'd love to do a debate, but it's too late. They point out the final 2020 debate was October 22nd. This proposed CNN debate, this rematch against Vice President Harris and Trump, would be one calendar day later, October 23rd. So, folks, this is nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. We know what's going on here. Donald Trump got his ass kicked. It wasn't close. The vice president is infinitely, morally, and intellectually superior to him. Trump is well aware of that, even though he will never publicly admit to it. And he's too afraid to face her. So she should continue to mock him, call him out, make as much political hay of this as humanly possible, continue to denigrate and downplay Trump as much as we possibly can, because he deserves it. It's fun. It's also good politics. And yeah, Donald Trump is a wimp and a loser who cannot and will not face the vice president again unless he is convinced that it is absolutely necessary to salvage his floundering campaign. So we'll see what happens. In the meantime, let me know what you think in the comments.